Hello everyone, it's Don again, Captain Cross Stitch. That's right, it's a new month, there's a new name, and a new approach. So, in the past I kind of started things off with a little bit of personal stuff, but I think I'm going to forego that. I don't think people want to tune in to hear about my health problems, so we'll just forego that. So yeah, I want to start off by saying welcome to February. It's February 3rd, Saturday, and I am having this new approach, and hopefully you'll enjoy my video more. I'm trying to be a little more upbeat, a little more excited. Watching some of my previous videos, I was like, man, I'm really boring as hell. But anyway, so a lot of that is stemming from a ton of Floss tube that I've been watching. So I want to give some shout outs to a few people. First of all, a relative newcomer to Floss tube. Her name is Rosanna. She goes by Rosanna Bright and Dusty. That's her YouTube channel. She's fabulous, and she's funny, and does awesome stitching. I highly recommend you go check her out because she's only been stitching for about a year and a half or so, and her very first cross stitch, and she completed it, was one of the lavender and lace Celtic ladies. I can't remember which one it was, but yeah, she did it. Now, and she'll show you that in its entirety in her first episode. But she will tell you in a subsequent episode that she is so new to what we do that she came to find out that she did some things wrong. Not that you can really tell because her finished product is gorgeous, but it's funny, and she's cute and adorable, and she's breaking out of her shell, and I love watching her, so go check her out if you will. I also want to thank Angie, the Second Wind Stitcher. Now, she too only has a few videos, although over the holiday season, she was doing I think like a 12 days of Christmas tutorial kind of thing, which I'm not really sure, it wasn't something that I was too interested in, and they were only, they were very short videos. They were just like a tutorial on something. But her full-length cross-stitch videos are a hoot, and she is, so far, she's the queen of big-ass projects. She has so many full coverage pieces, and more power to her. I like the fact that she really doesn't care that she has so many big projects. So, but a lot of them are really cool, and some of them she's making some progress on. So, go check her out. And then finally, the big one that I've been binging on, and I'm within a year of, I've been watching all of her videos chronologically, so I'm about a little less than a year from the current postings. So, but anyway, her name is Samantha, and a lot of you may know her. She is the self-proclaimed Hygge Stitcher. That's the Danish word Hygge, Hygge, that's how she pronounces it. She's from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And oh my God, she is so upbeat, so happy, so adorable, and she does great stitching. She does a lot of stuff, even though I think she said she's up to 16 projects. And I think at the beginning she had like 4 or 5. So she blames Floss Tube, just like probably I will or do already, about getting more projects started and not really caring about that too much. But she does a lot of Mirabilia and Nora Corbett stuff, and now she's branching out into sampler style stuff, and she's discovered Al Forrest embroidery, and she's doing a bunch of the stitch alongs, or kind of after the fact, because she came in late to the game on some of them. But yeah, she's very prolific, and she loves what she does. She's got some beautiful finished pieces, and she shows them off all the time. She'll do different episodes where she'll say, "Oh, here's my pretty ladies that I've done for the past 15 years or however long it's been," and some of them are framed, and some of them are folded up in nice neat piles, and she'll show you all those. So go watch her. She is really good, and she knows a lot of other floss tubers. So I'm hoping you all can spread the word. Even more so, she broke 5,000 viewers, so we're going to keep her going. And so again, that's the Huga Stitcher. Her name is Samantha. Go check her out. Coca-Cola. Okay, so as you'll recall, but if you're new here, then you won't. Month to month, I was choosing what I worked on by the roll of a 20-sided die, and that seemed to work okay. But I was starting to get a little bored, to be honest, because I have so much stuff that I want to start, and it was killing me. So, plus having had been ill kind of derailed things a little bit and set me back. But so for January, I had 5 projects that I was going to work on. It was the Snowy Owl, this kind of playful dolphin, cartoonish looking dolphin piece, my Al Forrest squirrel that I've been working on, which was kind of like my focus piece, and then I had 2 other ones. Let's see, what was it? It was the Native American dress one from Design Works, and then there was a 4th one I can't remember. But anyway, so I started off pretty well. The Snowy Owl, did I mention that? The Snowy Owl from Mill Hill was a beaded kit, one of the mini kits. So I started off okay. I worked on the owl first, and I'll show you progress on that in a minute. I did some of the dolphin, and then just didn't want to do anything else. Even the squirrel, even though I was like over 50% done, I didn't feel like doing it. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to start something new. I'm tired of not being able to have that joy of doing so. So I started a new piece from Rosewood Manor called Hunter Gatherer, and I'll show you how far I've gotten on that start. And then I also started a mini, it's going to be a 4x4 piece, so that it's only going to take a few days to stitch up, and I'll show you that as well. So as far as future plans, so I'm, like I said, it's a new month, new name. I chose Captain Cross Stitch because, you know, I'm a big comic book nerd. If you didn't know that, I am. And I used to work at a store, which I retired from back in December. I just had done it for so long and got tired of it. And then my last day was supposed to be December 17th. But then I got sick and was in the hospital and blah, blah, blah. So he just said, all right, you can retire early. So, so that's where I stand. So now I have my Sundays back, and I'm trying to have a new lease, a new approach, and a new name, Captain Cross Stitch here. So what I'm going to do going forward, I'm going to do what I want, do what feels good, and I'm taking a page out of another floss tuber. Allie Z is crafty, and if you haven't checked her out, oh my God, she is wonderful. Excuse me. She is fun, she's giggly, she's happy, she does a lot of cool stuff. Go check out her videos. She just posted one about a week ago, I think. So check that out. But yeah, I'm taking a page out of her book because she's kind of reached the same conclusion. She's like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care what if I want to finish something, I'll finish something. And that's kind of the attitude I've adopted. So if I want to finish something, I will. If I want to start something new, I will. Now, granted, I'm not going to do start 5 things every month, and that would be just a little crazy. But anyway, so coming up, my plans for the next month, because I plan on continuing a monthly recording schedule as far as Floss Tube goes. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. So I'll keep that schedule. So for February, I am going to continue on the Alforce embroidery squirrel, which I was at one of my 2 monthly cross stitch groups this morning, and I got up to 60% complete. So making great progress there. I want to have that done and fully finished with a frame and matting and whatever for the upcoming retreat that I plan on going to in August, which is the Grace Notes retreat in Allentown, PA. That'll be the August 8th through the 11th, I believe. So I'll continue that. I'm going to continue the new start that I mentioned, and I'll show you that in a minute. I also have another, I would consider it's not a mini, but it's a smaller piece, and it's a monochrome piece that I'm planning on doing. That'll be another new start. So, and then beyond that, I don't know what else at this time I plan on working on, but if time permits or I just am in the mood, if I work on something other than those few things, I'll show you that next video. I'll say, hey, look, I decided to do this during the month, and I didn't tell you about it because I didn't know I was going to do it. Okay. And then for the year, for 2024, so embracing this new outlook, this new approach, there are other designers that I really, really want to try, and I want to start something by them because I own many, many patterns, and I'm thinking, I love these people so much. I keep buying their patterns, but I haven't actually stitched one. So, that being said, which is one of Allie's favorite things to say, um, I'm going to attempt on no schedule, but if the mood strikes, and I have stuff kitted up and ready to go, I'll go ahead and start it. So, some potential new starts. Like I said, no definitive plans, but these are just some designers I would really like to start on something this year. Like Bella Filipina would be one, and I do have one kitted and ready to go, so that might be sooner than later. Something by Joan Elliott. Now, I have a ton of her patterns, and I'm planning on buying a ton more. I'm thinking either one of her Asian beauties that she's done, or maybe one of her fairies or pretty ladies or whatever. She has a ton of stuff. Something from Emma Congdon, perhaps. Her designs are simplistic, and they often have interesting messages attached to them, but it'd be fun. They look like they'd be fun to do because it's a lot of solid colors, really bright colors. Long Dog Sampler. Now I have, I think, 4 or 5 of these. That's a tall order, but I'm thinking I want to start thinking about, well, which pattern do I want, and then how do I want to do it? Do I want to do like a monochrome black, or a monochrome other color, or somebody in one of my stitching groups, Caitlin, I can't remember her last name, don't kill me. She started one and was using variegated floss on it, and it looked really cool. Now, granted, that your fabric choice would be a big factor in that as well. So, just a couple ideas on that potential project. Now, another favorite subject of mine, and yet I've only ever really started one, is I love peacocks. So there's a butt ton of peacock designs and charts and kits and stuff out there, and I own a ton of them. So I think it's time I bust one out. And like I said, I do have one started, and I plan on continuing it. So maybe that'll be one of the projects I squeak in during the month of February. No promises, but if I do work on it and make some decent progress, I'll show it to you in the next video. Something with a carousel horse. I know that sounds very specific, but I have a book, and I have several. Well, the book has one for each month of the year, and then I have several patterns that I bought off of Etsy from Russia that are various carousel horses as well. Not sure why I like them, but I just think they look cool and they'd be fun to stitch, I think. So, and I know Allie Z likes them as well, because I had shown her the book and that I own, and she loved it and proceeded to find a copy for herself, and now she's that's in her possession to do something. So maybe I'm gonna see her in August at the Grace Notes retreat, so maybe we'll work on something together. Who knows? Cottage garden samplers. I have a ton of those. I have all the years in the woods, and I have some of the snowmen, and now I'm buying the house series that has started, and number 3 of that was just released, I think. Silver Creek. I love Silver Creek samplers. I have several of those because I met her, the owner designer, at my very first retreat 2 Octobers ago, at a retreat that no longer exists. So that I made it. My first one was their last one. So, but I bought a ton of patterns from her when I met her there. So I want to do, I did, that was like one of my 2 finishes from 2023 was a Silver Creek, which I did for a friend. It was a beach scene. Plum Street sampler. I have 2 or 3 of those. I don't have too many of those, but they're massive as far as I can tell. I was going to start one of those prior to the Rosewood Manor one that I started, but I screwed up on the fabric. I don't know what I was thinking. So anyway, so that was delayed. That start is now delayed. I need to buy more fabric to do that, and perhaps I'll pick a different pattern. Who knows? And then so I have a bunch of lavender and lace stuff as well. Now, granted, I don't know how many big projects I really want to stick my foot into this year, but I have a bunch of angels, and I have a bunch of the Celtic ones, and then related to them, I picked up a couple of patterns off of eBay recently, which I'm going to show you later in this video, which are related to it because it's the same designer, but I'm not going to tell you what it is because it might give it away. But I may start one of those. And then I have a bunch of prairie schooler stuff, and their stuff looks, simple and fun. So I may try one of those. And by all means, that's not the complete list, but those are the ones that stood out the most to me for desires and wanting to start. So we'll see what happens. I may only start a couple of them. Like I said, it just depends on how I feel and what mood hits me, and whether I have stuff kitted up or not, or what have you. So all right, so enough of that. All right, where should we start? All right, so I'm going to start with what progress did what was my stitching progress in the month of January? So like I said, the ones that I originally had rolled for, I didn't necessarily do them all, but the ones that I did accomplish something on, I'll show you those. So like I said, I started out of the gate really strong. I worked on the Mill Hill Snowy Owl and got a fair amount done, I thought. And for those of you who may not know what I'm talking about, so that's the finished product. All right, I should take that out of the plastic and so you don't have that glare, but all right, and then this is my progress thusly. So I finished all the light green down here. I finished all that, so that was quite a bit. And then I started on this darker green up here. So I'm working my way down, and there's more of that. So I'm getting all the stitching parts done first. And then ultimately, then it comes down to beading, which there is a ton on this. So now that I'm, not randomly determining anything, I'm gonna have to want to work on this again, and I may. Just depends on my mood. But it is what it is. So one of the other ones that I randomly rolled for last time was, now watch, I won't be able to open this up. Oh, come on. Okay. So this was, a dimensions kit. It's a mini kit. Take it out of the package. I'll take this out. So it's called Blow Bubbles, and it says, "When life gives you troubles, blow bubbles." And it's a little dolphin in a floaty with sunglasses. So all right. So this is my progress. So it's another one that's pretty close to being done. I mean, I got a lot of words and these bubbles to do, around various spots. But I did finish the sunglasses on the dolphin and the duck inflatable, and there's a bunch of white that has to be done. But this is one that I originally had started for a coworker at a place I no longer work at. So, the desire's not really there, and I just worked on it because I rolled the die, and that's what it landed on. So chances are I won't be going back to this one for a long time. More than likely. So one of the other pieces I was to work on was the Design Works Native American dresses, the Indian dresses, and I'm not going to bother showing you that. I mean, maybe if I pick it up at some point and make considerable progress, I'll show it again. But there was areas that were just like big blocks of this beige color, and that's all I was doing was filling in. So that's boring. I'm not going to show you that. But I will show you two other things that I worked on, plus my new starts. This one was from, it's actually from the premiere issue of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine from 1985, I think, something like that. But it's just called Stegosaurus. Unfortunately, there's no picture, so I guess I shouldn't really show you the pattern, but I've obscured it enough with coloring, I think, to make it not worrisome. But anyway, I've made some progress. I'm really just about done the actual dinosaur. I've only got a little bit more to do. So this color in here, I gotta finish filling that in, and then there's one more color for the underbelly and the head, and then there's some shadowing on the ground down here, and then the word Stegosaurus across the bottom. And that was from, so the original designer was a geology technologist who from California, and she her kit, this is from the magazine, but you could get these as kits. Her company is called XYZZX. I'm not really sure what that refers to, but yeah. So she's the original designer, and she wasn't very prolific. She did some other dinosaurs, I think, and some other odds and ends patterns, at least in my research. That's all I found. Of course, that was 40 years ago. 40 some years ago. But anyway, getting close. And I'm not doing that for anybody. That was just, I was just like, oh, let me do that. That looks fun. And easy. It's only like 6 colors, I think, 6 or 7. Okay, so what else did I do? Okay, so, all right, moving on to my new starts. So the new start that I did in January, like I said, was the Rosewood Manor Hunter-Gatherer. Grab that. Oh, is this the right one? Yeah. So this is the pattern. So I'm usually a middle of the fabric starter, but for some reason I felt like I should start here, and that's what I did. So yeah, this is trying to remember. So the fabric, I'm actually doing this on the 14 count, which is my favorite because it's easy to work with, and it's not. I mean, it is Ada, but it's very pliable. It's very soft. So it's from Picture This Plus, and it's called Shale. So it's like a, that stone color. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. And in case you're wondering, the Christmas tree needle minder, that's from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. Not sure what the availability of that is, but that's where it's from. So that was my, so that was the bug, that was the itch that got scratched in January that kind of derailed my original plans. But I'm not upset about that. I'm actually happy about that, um, but that got me started. So that's that. So, like I had mentioned earlier, one of the Floss tubers that I have been binging on is Samantha, the Huga Stitcher, and I'm kind of discovering what she has already discovered, but I'm watching her discover it as she goes along. So I had started. I wanted to keep kind of a record of what I was doing, and I bought this planner, which, I was going to record the stuff that I stitched on, and, where you can see my notes, what I was planning on stitching on for January, and other things, like, oh, new shipment from 123 Stitch arrived today, woohoo! That kind of thing. And it was fine. So then she told me about something called the Book of Days, which is just the same kind of thing. It's just in a book, book form, and it's excuse me. But I guess it's maybe, I don't know. I didn't get it because I wasn't sure. But she's recording it, everything she does in it, and she's having fun with it. She bought sticker books and is putting all kinds of crazy stickers all over the place. Her daughters are helping her, and so I said, well, maybe I can find something. Excuse me. So I went on eBay. Ye old eBay. No, not eBay. What am I talking about? I went on Amazon. And I found this. The Stitcher's Almanac. So this company called Stitching Cabin has designed this, this planner, this thing to record your stitchy progress and plans and whatnot. And so I've also adopted Samantha's idea of fun, and I'm putting some stickers in it. So I got one of the books in a series that she's using. I don't have the same one she has, but it's called the Antiquarian Sticker Book, and this volume happens to be called Imaginarium. So it's just filled with all kinds of crazy stickers and whatnot. So I find ones that are appealing to me and I put them in. So I'll show you January. So here's January. So this is where I worked on the Mill Hill Snowy Owl, and there's a snowy owl. It's a big snowflake. And then there's I like butterflies, so this looked kind of, not that we have butterflies in winter, but it looked kind of frosty looking, so I just put that on there, resting on the spool. And then down at the bottom, there's a old-timey sailing vessel that's stuck in the ice. So, and then I'll show you February since I started that one already, obviously. It's a love train coming for you. Oh, heart. Another butterfly at the bottom, and another heart with a I put it on there because it's got a thing in German on there. It says Die besten Glückwünschen. So I said, it's like I'm wishing you the best of luck. So it's interesting. So, and then right here is showing I have a new start for February. I started something new February 1st. But what's also cool is, it's got all the months, and then in the back, it has a chronicle of stuff you can enter so you can see it by date. So you could say, oh, I started X project here, and you could draw an arrow or something, and then, oh, finished it down here, just to, like, at a glance for the whole year, I guess. And then the pages that I like, they have something for ambitions and aspirations for the year. It's got a new start register, so look at that. I already got 2. And then it's got a record of finishes. Oh, look, I have an entry. I have a finish. Well, I guess I'm going to have to show you that. So, yeah. So it's fun. I'm trying to keep positive about stuff because, winter months are somewhat depressing. At least the days are starting to get longer again. Okay, so I had to finish. Now, I want to try and have as many finishes as I can this year. But, and I'm not going to set a goal, like I need to have 10 finishes. That's just not reasonable. So what I want to do is just say, I'm going to try and have as many finishes as possible. I only had 2 last year, but I had a lot going on last year. I was finishing writing my first novel, so that took a lot of my time. And then a couple of different illnesses set me back quite a bit too, so we'll see what happens. I'm trying to stay positive, but anyway, I have one. Finished it January 31st, so there it is. This was a Dimensions kit called Light at Sea. It came with the matting in the kit. So somebody asked me if it was a named lighthouse. It doesn't mention it, so I'm guessing it's just kind of an idyllic. But maybe it is based loosely on an actual place. I don't know. But it was fun. I had started this a while back. I'm not sure how long, but it was close to finish. I had all the main stitching done. I was just doing the half stitches that make up the clouds in the sky, and then the back stitching, so I was able to finish that up. And I got a really nice frame. This color, I think, really brings out the rest of it pretty well. Excuse me a moment. All right, sorry about that. I had a moment there. So then my other new start in February, like I said earlier, is kind of a mini start. It's a little 4x4 design. And what it is, it's actually 1/3 of a larger triptych of a design, and it's called, and I actually showed this chart in a previous video, it's called Love Bugs. So I thought, how appropriate that I do a love bug during the month of February. So I have a coworker who's been kind of depressed lately, and she's not, doing well, I guess, mentally. She's just not happy. But anyway, so I figured I'm going to do this dragonfly for her. So I'm only going to do this one design down here. So it's simple. Actually, I already finished the dragonfly itself. I just need to do all the design work around it. So there it is. I lied. I got one more color to do. I got to fill in the wings with one color, but it's all done other than that. So yeah, that was one day. So hopefully I'll be. There should be no reason why I don't finish that during the month of February. So that'll make 2 finishes. Bah, bah, bah. Well, we've already matched last year's production. Okay. Other planned stuff for February. So it's Valentine's Day on the 14th. And, why not do something more romantic, I guess, for lack of a better description. So I have another chart. Now this is a chart that I bought and downloaded off of. I got it from Tempting Tangles Designs. So I don't know how many of you are familiar with them, but yeah, they have a lot of cool designs. A lot of it's sampler style stuff, and their Quaker series is the bomb. They're gorgeous. I haven't started. I bought several of them, but I haven't started any of them. But in keeping with the theme of the month, I decided that I had bought this because I liked it, and had it on my computer, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna do that design because it's a romantic heart motif. So here it is. It's called Key to My Heart. Now, I printed this off in black and white, but it's a monochrome piece. Now, granted, you can stitch it however you want. You know, if you want to pick a bunch of different colors and go to it, that's fine. I am gonna make it monochrome-ish, and I say that because I'm going to use variegated floss on the stitch. So I bought a bunch of different colors because I wasn't sure what kind of fabric I was going to use at the time. So I'm going to pull these out. So the pattern itself calls for DMC 221, okay, which is, you know, it's a nice deep red, you know, not too dark, but not real bright either. So then I was like, well, let me see, I know they have some variegated floss, what do they look like? So they had three that I thought would be appropriate, but I haven't decided which one. I kind of have decided, but so here's the first one. This is number 48 in the variegated colors from DMC. Now this one is the most pinkish, okay, of the three that I bought. If I was doing it on white, I would probably pick this, but I'm not, and I'll show you the fabric in a second. I also bought 99, which is that color. So this has a little bit of pink, but it's got more red, and it's got a little bit of white in it too, which, you know, which would work. But I think the one I'm ended up going to go with, because it's brighter, is 107. So this is more reddish, which is, I guess, more brighter red than the DMC 221. But it's still variegated, so it's still got a little bit of pink and a little bit of lighter colored red, you know, so it goes from like pink to a, you know, a standard red color, probably closer to 666 DMC. But I mean, I'll start it, and if I don't like it, I'll just take it out and I'll try one of the other ones. So the fabric I'm going to end up using is a piece of Grace Notes fabric called Strawberry. I'm gonna forget the name. Strawberry Latte. That's what it's called. So you probably can't tell. I'm not sure how that's coming across, but it's kind of like a creamy pink. So, you know, it's got some modeling of pink and various shades of pink and white. It's really nice. It's real pretty. So I'm thinking, you know, that over that. I mean, really, any of them will look good, I'm guessing. But I mean, even the one that's mostly pink would probably look pretty good. I may even go with this one now that I'm looking at it on here. We'll see. So I plan on starting that on Valentine's Day. So in about, a week from Wednesday, that'll be another new start for the month of February. And then, I'll get it framed or get a frame for it, because it's not, I think the finished design, because this fabric is a 14 count Ada. I think the finished design is, the finished design I think is 8 by 8. So, 8 by 8 or 10 by 10, I can't remember. But it's certainly small enough that I can frame it myself. So that's the plan for that. All right. So, yeah, what is left? I guess all I have left is haul, and we're just about an hour into this video, and I'm just now getting to the haul part, and that might take another hour because I have got a ton. I bought a ton of stuff since the end of December. But before we get into that, I wanted to show you if I can find it. Okay, so at the top of the video, I was telling you about a floss tuber named Rosanna, the relatively newcomer to cross-stitching. She, as of her last video, she was very close to completing it, so that she was working on a sampler that she found in a old cross-stitch magazine, and it's called Santas of Fable and Fantasy. It's a sampler, it's a Christmas sampler, and it's from the November-December 1991 Cross-Stitch and Country Crafts magazine, which I was like, oh, I really want to do that because it's so cool. I was like, do I have it? And I knew I had a pile of these magazines because that's where I got the dinosaur, the Stegosaurus that I showed you earlier. So I had bought like several lots of the magazines off eBay for like, $10. They send you a pile of them. But also at last August, the retreat I went to last August, Grace Notes retreat, we had a freebie swap table, and somebody had left a pile of magazines. So I didn't know which ones I already had and which ones I didn't. So I just took them all. I took every copy of Cross Stitch and Country Crafts magazine that it was at that table, and brought them home. So I was like, I might have that issue. And I, sure enough, found my pile and went through it, and here it is. So I'll show you the picture. How cool is that? Right? So you've got Santa in the blue with a wand. He's like a magician or a wizard. Then you've got, I'm not sure who the second guy is, but he's got a goose down there, and he might be, I don't even know. I don't even want to hazard a guess. But, and then there's your traditional, I guess, I don't want to say American Santa. and then you have kind of the old world, old school Santa there, and then you got a patriotic one, which I'm not really sure what that's supposed to be from. Um, so yeah, oh okay, yeah. So the one in the one is Father Christmas. So that's an English thing. Um, and then in Holland, it's Saint Nicholas, or to the and then of course yeah the American Santa Claus, and then the Stars and Stripes Santa is actually from something from the 1860s, which I had no idea. Uh, so anyway, I just thought that was really cool looking, and it would be fun to stitch. Now, granted, that's a lot of backstitch. Maybe I'll do one at a time, and not stress myself out. Do one, backstitch, do one, backstitch, instead of doing the whole sampler backstitch all in one time. I'd be like, But anyway, future project. Not sure when. Might not even be this year, but maybe when the next holiday season rolls around and I'll get in the mood, I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna kit that up and go to town. Okay. So let's start the haul, shall we? So this smaller pack is actually, I ordered this 2 days before Christmas because I needed some fabric for a bigger project, which I can't remember if I shared that with anybody or in my last video. Did I share that? I think I did. Anyway, so I got some Aida and it's a big project. It's called Heroic Aida. I'm not sure who the manufacturer is, but maybe I'll figure that out. I'll share that when I actually start it, which actually could be another new start sometime this year. It's the American flag quilt sampler from Rosewood Manor. But in this this shipment, I got the Mayari, Deity of the Moon from Bella Filipina. I love this stuff. I mean, next to can't remember. Next to Mirabilia, these are like, I mean, the quality is so great on these. I mean, you have these nice packages. They got these resealable outer envelope, and then you got much like Mirabilia, you've got the kind of paper envelope that you can pull apart and reseal. And the patterns and all inside are just really nice. Although I do like these better because they're in a standard, page size format, not a gigantic map of the world format like the Mirabilias are. I got another one in the Cottage Garden Samplings Snowman Collector Series number 3, the Shepherd. I got him. And I hope to do those someday, but I'm waiting until I finish buying them all, and once I get them all, then I'll start them probably. I also have from Cottage Garden Samplings the Fabulous House series number 1, Santa's House. Go Santa, go Santa. That's so cool. It's got kind of a Nordic or Scandinavian style / Quaker vibe to it. It's pretty cool. And then of course, as I always do, because I always buy one Bella Filipina and one Mirabilia that I don't have every order, because I'm collecting them. I got the Gypsy Queen, which is gorgeous. I love that. That'll be so fun to do. So nice. Okay, so that was the shipment from the end of December. Next shipment. This was from the following week. Okay, so I've got get these out of order somehow. Doesn't matter. All right. So this shipment, and I was going to order this one sooner, but they were out of it on 123 Stitch, which is my go-to place to order. I'm sure there's other sites, but there's really no other reason for me to go anywhere else, because they just have it pretty much everything. So this is another, but they were out of it originally, and so I put in the notify me when it comes in, and they did almost immediately. Another Bella Filipina. This is called the Heiress of Atlantis. Gorgeous. This is number 12, if you're bothering to keep track. Next in the Cottage Garden Sampling Snowman Collector Series, number 4, the Postman. He's bringing me mail. Bringing me another package from 123 Stitch. Boom. I got a Plum Street sampler. The new Constellation. This one seems to be pretty popular. So yeah, like I said, I want to start something from them sometime in the next not too long. This is Mirabilia. This is their 25th anniversary celebration pattern, the Lady Mirabilia. I kind of late to the game on these, so I didn't know what this was, but I was like, oh, that looks pretty decent. I think I'll grab that. And I got something from the Cross-Eyed Cricket, the Cricket Collection, number 302, Summer. I see various people doing all these different, either the seasons or the month ones. Yeah, everywhere I go, where there's a bunch of people stitching, somebody's always doing one of these. So they're pretty cool. I'm collecting all the seasons and the months. And the same with Prairie Schooler. I'm getting all the months right now. So this is Prairie Schooler 158, or I'm sorry, 154. July. Patriotic. Love the patriotic stuff. And then, last but not least, I got another design from Joan Elliott Design. This is the Summer Geisha. So that could be in the running for me starting one of her projects, hopefully not in the not too distant future. Next, told you there was a lot. Okay, so I've decided to collecting the memorabilia is one thing, but there's so many of them, and some of them are going to be really expensive to get if I truly try to decide to get all of them just as a collector. You know, I certainly wouldn't be able to stitch them all, obviously, but the and the same with the Bella Filipina. Granted, they don't have nearly as many, but they have enough that I would never stitch them all, but I do want to own them all, and at least for the moment, they seem to be, you might be able to still get them all. As far as I can tell, you can still get them all, but so I figured I'd start getting some of the older ones. So this is Bella Filipina #1, called Rosa Mystica, and it's a pretty lady in a dress. Interesting. I mean, it's pretty. Not quite as interesting as some of the other ones. A little subdued, if you ask me, as far as, you know, the layout and whatever. But it's still pretty. But so I'm going to start buying some of the old. I'm trying to buy them in numerical order so I know what I have. Okay, so the group of ladies that I sat with at last year's Grace Notes retreat, we have a chat group on Facebook Messenger called Table 5 Rocks, because we do rock, just saying. So that's Allie Z from Allie Z is Crafty. Go watch her videos now. Do it later. No, do it later. After you watch mine. Okay. It's her, her friend Anne, and then it's Tiffany and Dana and Trudy, and she's gonna kill me. Is it Judy? I'm sorry, my brain is fried. Anyway, so Dana's the enabler. I blame her. So we're going to be doing a kind of a round robin stitch along type of thing in the coming months. I'm not sure when that's going to start, but anyway. So she's like, well, we were chatting on the chat group one day, and she's like, oh, have you checked out Carolyn Manning Designs? And I was just like, well, I know who that is, but I've never really actually, other than seeing other YouTubers stitch on their stuff. I did see, I think it was Tiffany had been stitching on one called Sunset, or maybe it was Dana. I can't remember. One of them was stitching Sunset. So I was like, yeah, I'll look at them. Oh my God, there's so many of them. So I settled on one, and it won't be my last, I'm sure, that I buy, but this one is called Stargazer. So I think I kind of like it because it reminds me of Quilt Box, which, that and Quaker stuff. It's kind of one of my jams. So that should be a lot of fun to do whenever I get around to it. Okay, Cottage Garden Samplings Fabulous House Series number 2, The Castle. Ooh. So number 3, I think just was announced or dropped. I don't know if it actually came out or not, but I saw it on 123 Stitch saying coming soon. So I'm guessing within the next week or two, it'll be out. Okay, next in the Cross-Eyed Cricket collection, Autumn. We saw Summer in the last packet. Autumn, that looks cool. Can't wait to do that. And then from the same people, here's July. Got that. Then another Joan Elliott. This was the Winter Geisha. That one's pretty cool. I like that one. Oh, and my Mirabilia from this order is Royal Holiday. That's really pretty. Love the colors. And then last but not least, I forget who was telling me about this. I don't know if it was on a YouTube channel or one of the people from my table. I can't recall. But it's from the Prairie School. It's called Harvest Time. I really like this one. So this is another triple bill kind of thing. You could do all of them or just any one you want to do. I'm going to do this one for sure. That's that kind of folky, kind of, Amish, Quaker. That's kind of my jam, one of them. All right, so that's my last order from 123 Stitch, and it's killing me because I haven't placed an order with them in several weeks, even though there's a ton of more stuff I want to get. But I'm kind of broke right now because work is, well, so when I was sick, I had used up more than my allotment of sick time that I had available. Now it's great that they paid me, but I have to pay that back out of the time that I have from this year. So they're docking my pay over a couple of months to pay that time back. I agreed to that, so it's not on them. It was just a solution that they offered, and I took it. But my paychecks have been cut a fair amount, at least enough to make it. I mean, I'm just about done. I got one more pay to pay back, so it's just rough. And for my stitching habit, so I haven't been ordering anything. But anyway, all right. But I do have one more thing to show you as far as haul goes, stitching haul, that is. So I had been reading online about the history behind Mirabilia and Nora Corbett and who her mom was and all that, and I was like, oh, I had no idea. So I had so her mom, if I got this correct, and you can tell me if I screwed up and got it wrong. Her mother was Marilyn Levitt Evelyn, who was the driving force and creator behind Lavender and Lace and Told in a Garden, I think, and Butternut Road. It was like 3 different lines of stuff, that she was involved in creating. So I was like, oh, that's a neat connection, it runs in the family, and they all do, beautiful things. And her mother did the, angels and pretty ladies as well. But I never knew that so there was a couple of cross stitch patterns that I had seen, and I never made the connection between them and her and all this history. So but the patterns maybe weren't hard to find like on eBay or whatever, but some of them were charging a lot of money for them, and I was like, I wanted them, but I didn't want to pay more than $20 a piece for them, if that. And I could find one or the other, but I could never find both. And I'm going to show you which ones I'm talking about. So there were 2 that she did under the Butternut Road name. I don't know if these are the only ones, but these are the 2 that I'm interested in. And they are called Earth Dancer and Spirit Dancer. So they were numbered. Earth Dancer is number 7 in the Butternut Road series, and Spirit Dancer was number 10. So she obviously had other designs as well. Well, one day I just decided to look to see what I could find on eBay. And I'm scrolling, and like I said, I could find one or the other, but I wanted to order both together. I didn't want to have to, And that most of them were like, $20 or more in some instances. I was like, it's killing me. Well, I kept scrolling. I got to the bottom of the list, and lo and behold, there's a new entry just popped up, like literally like within like moments of me looking at it, and they had both of them, and the buy it now price was $20. I said, bing, instant buy, bing. So I got them. Got them both. Now, granted, like I said, I'm guessing, they weren't necessarily hard to find. It's just, what are you willing to pay for them, So, in my opinion, these were unicorns, but they're not really that hard to find. It's just my personal desires that I wanted these really bad. So, this might be, one of these might be a start. Who knows? Alright, so that's all my Stitchy haul. What else do I have to talk about? Well, as in my previous videos, I would talk about other things, other stuff that I love. And if you don't want to stay tuned in for that, that's really all the stitching stuff I had to talk about. So you can stop watching now if you want. But I hope you'll stay around. Maybe you'll learn something interesting, or you'll find something intriguing, whatever. So I may have mentioned in my first video, I think, that I'm also into coloring, the adult coloring craze from more than a decade ago now. but there's still some people putting out stuff. So, and I got this recently because of what the subject matter, and it's actually pretty decent, pretty decently done. It's the Dungeons and Dragons coloring book. So if you like D&D or coloring, or dragons and stuff like that, the adventurers getting ready to fight the dragon and blah. So got that, and at the same time they had the Dungeons and Dragons stickerology book. So it's another book of stickers. Now granted, I don't know what I'm gonna put these on unless I stitch some kind of fantasy thing, and I'll put it in my book, my stitchy tracking book. Okay, so since I am self-proclaimed, comic book nerd, I figured I'd share something that I find interesting. So, if any of you saw the Avengers movies, was it Infinity War and Endgame, and the villain from that was a character called Thanos. Okay, you see him back there sitting on my shelf? That's Thanos with the personification of death in front of him, because he was obsessed with death. Well, anyway, in Marvel Comics, that character is very closely, Thanos is very closely tied to a writer and artist by the name of Jim Starlin, and I guess from the 70s and onward, he had a character, personal, that he designed named Dreadstar, and it's very, very cool, kind of cosmic-y kind of stuff. Now, there's some common themes, present within Jim Starlin's body of work that repeat. A lot of it has to do with the infinite cosmos and life and death, and that kind of thing. But but his art is very stylistic, and he has a lot of characters throughout a bunch of his various series, throughout the decades, that are somewhat similar in appearance. Gilgamesh and Thanos and Breed, whatever, but Dreadstar to me resonates because it's origins are really cool, and I have a book I just wanted to share it with you. So it's called Dreadstar: The Beginning. So this collects all of the material from I'm trying to remember what all it covers. So yeah, it covers so there was a story that was initially published called the Metamorphosis Odyssey, from a magazine series that was published by Marvel under their Epic line, from Epic magazine, back in the 80s, I think 70s. And it covered, so it was a storyline that ran through the first 9 issues of that magazine. Then something called The Price, which I have an original of that. It was a magazine size, black and white story. And then the Dreadstar graphic novel that Marvel published, which was the oversized, book form. And then um, it also has some additional content from Epic Illustrated issue 12. So it's really cool. I've been reading it, and like I said, the art. I mean, you can't get better than this. I'm going to show you something. I mean, just the opening page is just like so good. I mean, and it carries over into his Dreadstar ongoing series, which I have a box over there that's got the entire run of Dreadstar, both volume 1 and 2, and that's like 50 plus issues of a comic. So I'm really looking forward to reading all that. But I've been kind of collecting Jim Starlin stuff. So this was the beginning. I have a bunch of Thanos stuff that he's done over the years. I've got his Breed comics. I've got what else? The Gilgamesh 4-issue deluxe series that I think DC published that, which was really, really good as well. I actually met him once. I actually have a book where he did a doodle for me and signed it. So, yeah. So that's me being a comic book nerd fan. Okay, so that's that. And then just some cool boxes that I got. I'm always looking out for interesting boxes. So back in December, actually right after I got out of the hospital, I went shopping at Target, and they had this display of like European chocolates and cookies and weird stuff. But they had this box, and it was so cool. And it doesn't really have peacocks on it per se, but the colors in are representative of that color scheme, and it's really cool. It's a thin metal box, but I love it, and it's sparkly and shiny. And pretty cool. So I'm trying to think of what I want to use that for. Don't know yet. I mean, it'd be cool if I could fit a cross stitch project in there, but it's kind of thin. So, I mean, that's my finger, and so it's not very thick. But it's pretty. I mean, I'll eventually figure out something to use it for. Which, speaking of which, I got another box, and I'm just storing like miscellaneous stitching stuff in there. Like, I've got a little needle book, that I got at the retreat last year, and I've got a little measuring tool for stitching projects, and then I've got a pair of scissors and some needles in there. So I'm just going to store miscellaneous stuff in there. But the box is so pretty. I had to get it. I got that from Joann's. I had a bunch of different boxes. I wish I could have bought all of them, but I don't have anywhere to put them, so I got the smallest one. But anyway, I'm just using that. I got a couple other storage things. So Samantha, the Hugo Stitcher, she she works at a local needle shop near her, and so she's like, "Oh, I'm discovering all this cool stuff, whatever." And so one of them was the from DMC. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly. The Diamante or Diamant or whatever, the sparkly metallic floss. So I started buying. I got two. I got a gold and a silver, and I got a box to put them in. So maybe you can make that out. So it's got all the. This is just a sewing spool holder box, but it'll work for these since they're spread out far enough. So I'm planning on getting a bunch of the other colors. Now these two are the Diamante Grande. So I'm not sure what makes them grande over the regular Diamante, or Diamant, but they look brighter. Maybe that's it. And then the other thing she was talking about was storage solution since she does so many mirabilias, and of course they all call for a ton of beads. She needed a way to store beads, and she has a way of doing it, but she's looking for something better. So when I was in Walmart yesterday, I found this. So this box, the lid comes off, and each one of these individuals is like a little cup with a screw-on cap. They're all plastic, but the beads are tiny enough that they would fit in there just fine. So as I work on projects and have beads left over, that's where they're going to go. So the future is soon. The future is now. All right. So I guess the only thing I have left is, I have a love for reading, so I buy more books than I'll probably ever get around to reading, but it doesn't stop me from getting them. And today was no exception. I went while my wife was at the eye doctor getting looked at. I was in Barnes & Noble, and I bought some books. So I got Olivia Blake's Atlas Paradox. So this is the second in the series, and the third one is out in hardback now. I'm not sure if that's the end of it or not, but I was waiting for the paperback because I don't really have a preference necessarily paperback over hardcover as long as they're big, because smaller books are harder to read because I've gotten old. So, but I do want my books in the same format. So since I bought the first book in paperback form, I was waiting for this to come out in paperback. So then I'll have to wait for the third book to come out in paperback, and so on. So that's that one. I look at this book every time I go in there, and I was like, when am I going to pull the trigger on this? Because it's science fiction. It intrigues me. And then when I saw another book in the series come out, I was like, okay, I'm going to get it. So I finally get it. So it's by Megan E. O'Keefe, called The Blighted Stars. So it's, about the struggle of human society and, trying to find new hospitable, yeah, I guess, worlds to live on. So, it should be a good series. And then, like I said, they got a book 2. You see book 1. of the Devoured Worlds book one. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And then most recent series I just started, the Lightbringer series. Yeah, I guess that's what it's called. By Brent Weeks. This is book 5 in the series, and this is called The Burning White. So the first book is called Black Prism, which I just started reading, and I haven't read enough yet to fully understand what it's all about necessarily, but apparently there are people that have innate abilities that somehow manifest themselves as colors of the spectrum. So like I've read about a guy who he's leading an army against different towns, and they're being slaughtered by this guy who operates, and I guess it's supposed to be magic, I'm not really sure, in the spectrum of green white. So it consumes them, like their eyes turn green and all this, and they're like maybe on fire, green fire. I don't know yet. But it's been interesting so far, so I need to pick that up again at some point. Well, that's all I got, just those 3 today. So yeah. So anyway, if that, thanks for watching. This is going on an hour and 40 some minutes. Thanks for watching and tuning in, and hopefully I was not asleep this time. It seemed like I was kind of boring. I tried to be upbeat and excited about stuff, and I am. I don't know, maybe I just don't show it well. I don't know that I've ever been that way, to be honest. I mean, I can be happy and I can have fun, but my face doesn't show it necessarily. Not like Samantha. I mean, she just oozes happiness and excitedness. It's just like, oh yeah. She makes me so happy. I can't wait to see the rest of her videos. So if you have any comments or questions about anything that I've said, doing, or you just want to hit me up with, questions about anything that I talked about, comics or books or stitching especially, you can do that and just comment, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in about a month. March 2nd should be when I do my next video. All right? So be safe, have a good time, and keep stitching. Captain out.